Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the circumcision of Prophet Muhammad. If you ask a Muslim whether he was circumcised or not, they will all say yes, he was. However, their answers will differ when it comes to how or when, because they have three different opinions. Opinion number one, he was born circumcised. Opinion number two, Jibril circumcised him when he split open his chest. Opinion number three, his grandfather Abdul Muttalib circumcised him according to the Arab custom of circumcising their sons. Wow, the Arab custom. Okay, this all can be refuted easily. But before we go there, I want to show you this. With regard to the first opinion, one of the Muslim scholars, Ibn al-Qayyim, narrated many hadith in the book mentioned which indicate this, but he ruled them all as weak or daif. He mentioned if a child is born circumcised, this is a defect, not a sign of virtue as some people think. Now, let us continue. Like I said, we can all refute, uh, all of this can be refuted very easy. Now, he was born circumcised. Let us refute that one. We can go to Sahih Muslim, hadith number 2859a. Aisha reported that she heard Allah's messenger saying, the people would be assembled on the day of resurrection, barefooted, naked, and uncircumcised. So, whether you are circumcised or not, on the day of resurrection, you will all go back to your original shape, uncircumcised, with the foreskin. Now, if Muhammad was born circumcised, and if that was not a birth defect, then what would happen to him? Would Allah be then add some foreskin on his penis as a gift, perhaps? Or maybe the circumcision is not that important for Muslims anyway. Because circumcision is a covenant between God and Abraham, right? That's why Abraham circumcised himself and his household as a covenant. So now, let us go to see the second one. Jibril circumcised him when he split open his chest. This Al Bukhari, hadith number 3342. Narrated Anas, Abu Dar used to say that Allah's Messenger said, while I was at Makkah, the roof of my house was opened and Jibril descended, opened my chest, and washed it with Zamzam water. Then he brought a golden tray full of wisdom and faith, and having poured its contents into my chest, he closed it. Then he took my hand and ascended with me to the heaven. Now, the rest of the hadith is about him in heaven. So we don't need to continue. Now, I have a question. Did you read anything about circumcision? Because I didn't. I don't know how some Muslims read this and understand it as circumcision. Because I didn't see it anywhere. Well, obviously, those Muslims have some wild imaginations. Now let's go to the third one. His grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, circumcised him according to the Arab custom of circumcising their sons. So, The Arab custom. The Arab custom. Can you imagine? Abdul Muttalib was a pagan. So if the Arab circumcising their son, if the pagans circumcising their son, then why would Allah ask Abraham, or God ask Abraham to circumcise himself? It's very strange. I understand Abraham lived before that. Look at this. Al-Bukhari, hadith number 6298, narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger said, the Prophet Abraham circumcised himself after he had passed the age of 80 years. And he circumcised himself with an adze, small axe. He circumcised himself when he was 80 years old. If you ask Muslim scholar, they will tell you that Abraham came from Iraq. So if he came from Iraq, then why he was not circumcised? Why he was not circumcised until he was 80 years old? Because circumcision is supposed to be an Arab custom, right? Or is it Arab custom? Since when? Since when? Online, you will find one or two websites talking about this, mentioning this Arab custom. However, this is part of the effort by Muslims to change history, because the Arabs actually did not circumcise their children. It's a lie. Because if the circumcision was a normal act by the Arabs, then it should not be part of fitra. Because Muslims actually to be to be perfect, to be clean, they have to shave their pubic hair, their armpit. They have to. They cannot grow a mustache, right? And they have to be circumcised and cut their nails. This is part of fitra. They call it fitra. If circumcision is a normal act, then it should not be mentioned there, because it's something, you know, something normal. I mean, people cut their nails, right? I mean, how many people actually grow their nails like really, really long? Now, and also, if you ask any Muslim scholar regarding the circumcision of Abraham, if you ask them why, they will have the same answer, just like from the Bible. Because it is a covenant between God and Abraham. Let me show you this website. The circumcision, this is very funny. The circumcision between, the covenant between God and Abraham. A Quranic perspective. A Quranic perspective. Now you read down the answer. Look at this, the answer. Genesis chapter 17. A Quranic perspective. But then they have to go to Bible to show you. Very, very strange, right? Why? Because Quran doesn't talk about this at all. Quran doesn't mention about circumcision at all. If circumcision, like I said, if circumcision is that important, why Quran doesn't mention it at all? Shouldn't be It should be mentioned in Quran, right? Here's the thing about Islam. Never they have they don't have they have so many different answers, but very confusing. Like this Quranic perspective. But then they have to take it from Bible because they don't really have the answer for that. If you ask them, yeah, the covenant, show me where is it in Quran or Hadith. They cannot show you anything. They cannot show you the reference. Now, with all this being said, the conclusion is very clear. Prophet Muhammad was the only prophet who was not circumcised. I will show you, before I close this, I will show you one more hadith. Sunan Abu Dawud, hadith number 3141, narrated Aisyah. By Allah, we did not know whether we should take off the clothes of the Messenger of Allah as we took off the clothes of our dead, or wash him while his clothes were on him. When they, the people, differed among themselves, Allah cast slumber over them until every one of them had put his chin on his chest. Then a speaker spoke from the side of the house, and they did not know who he was. Was the prophet while his clothes are on him? So they stood around the prophet and washed him while he had his shirt on him. They poured water on his shirt and rubbed him with his shirt and not with their hands. Aisha used to say, if I had known beforehand about my affair, what I found out later, none would have washed him except his wives. You see? So, those men who washed the body of Muhammad, they they washed him not with their hands, but with his shirt. So they did not know. And his shirt was on too. So that there's no way for them to know whether Muhammad was actually circumcised or not. It was just Muhammad wanted to show that he was following the religion of Abraham. Well, according to Christianity, of course, Abraham did not have religion. However, according to Muslim, Abraham did have a religion. So Muhammad wanted to show people it. So now, even after his death, people did not know whether he's circumcised or not, apart from his wives, of course, because he had sex with them. Well, maybe one or twice. I don't know. That's why I think this what that's why Aisha said, if I had known beforehand about my affair what I found out later, none would have washed him except his wives. Because then maybe she realized, oh shoot, he was not circumcised. And all these many Muslims these days, right? Especially these days, they're all circumcised. And imagine some Muslims who circumcised themselves find out that Muhammad was not actually circumcised. That's why all the myth came. He was circumcised when he was born. Jibril circumcised him. I mean, this, this is a very, very simple matter. Was he circumcised or not? And even for this, the answers are all over the place again. Just like anything else. They never have a concrete answer. Anyway, that's all from me for tonight. Thank you for watching and listening. Whether you are circumcised or not, God bless you all. Have a nice life.